Like many of you, maybe even most of you, I could not be happier to finally be rid of the raging dumpster fire that was 2020. I know that the next year will be anything but easy, but at the same time, I'm cautiously optimistic that 2021 will be filled with not just new possibilities, but chances to do things a little differently than last year. I started doing yoga about a month ago, and Adrian reminded me that there's a concept in yoga about setting an intention at the beginning of a practice. And while I'm not a fan of resolutions per se, I wanted to share a few things today that I've been thinking about for a while as a way of sort of setting my intentions for the year ahead. And to that end, I want to let you know about some of the changes that I'm making both personally and professionally moving forward. So let's start with my shows. Early in 2020, I created a new feed called Jeffrey Sidoris Everything as a way for you to get everything that I release, which is process-driven, in between, iterations, and any sort of one-off conversation like the recent chat with Bill Wadman, all in one feed, all in one place. And the response to that feed has been terrific. In fact, subscriptions to the individual feeds have dropped off considerably as subscriptions to everything have increased. And it's not one-to-one, but it's enough that I'm going to deprecate the individual show feeds so that moving forward, I'll only be publishing new episodes, new conversations to Jeffrey Sidoris Everything. Now, if you're already subscribed to everything, great. You don't have to do anything. You will continue to get all of the conversations that I release, which should be not only easier to manage under just one feed, but also more frequent since I don't have to try to figure out where a particular conversation fits, which really does tend to affect how I approach them for whatever reason. On the other side, if you're subscribed to one or more of the individual show feeds, please subscribe to Jeffrey Sidoris Everything so that you don't miss anything moving forward. I want you to know that I've thought a lot about this. I've thought about it for quite a while. And I know that there are some of you who might only want to listen to process driven, and this move might initially feel like kind of a bummer. But I think the way we listen to podcasts has changed, partially because there are just so many of them. I know it's definitely changed for me over the last few years. I mean, I subscribe to dozens of shows, and there are only a very few that I listen to every episode. Instead, I simply create playlists of the episodes that look interesting to me, and the listening trends show that I'm not in the minority here. This is kind of the way things have been moving for a while in terms of how we listen and consume media. One of the things I have struggled with for quite a while is monetizing the work that I do. And that goes for all of the work that I do, from design work for clients to selling my paintings to whether or not I run ads on my podcasts. And without getting too deep into it here, I'll cover it much deeper in a future conversation or a future iteration or something. It all revolves around self-worth and how I assign or ascribe value to the work that I do. But I think I've come up with a solution that Adrian and I have been talking about for a while now. A few days ago, I tweeted a Venn diagram with creativity on one side and philanthropy on the other side. And that place in the middle of those two ideas is where I want to be. It's where I find joy. It's where I find challenge. It's where I find value. So the solution that we've come up with is that we're going to donate the majority of any revenue that my creative endeavors generate into arts education and related nonprofits. And we'll have details on how it's going to work, the actual organizations, what's going to be affected, that kind of thing. But the big picture is that this allows me to value the work that I do in a way other than what it can do for me. In fact, it actually, I think, becomes more valuable in that the worth of it directly helps more than just me. I'm super excited about this. And these are a couple of the big things. There are some other things that I'll share in the coming weeks. But I think that's enough for the moment. If you have questions or comments, you can always find me on Twitter or Instagram at Jeffrey Saddoris. That's JeffreySaddoris, or on my website at jeffreysaddoris.com. If you'd like to email me, you can do that at talkback@jeffreysaddoris.com. And as always, thank you for your time, for your attention. Thank you for helping me keep it together in 2020. And I hope you'll continue to come along for the ride. Happy New Year.